Podcast community. PeteKane here, Podcast Pete and lifestyle coach. We got a special guest on the show, and I want to bring to you somebody that is excelling in leadership, and I want to just be able to share his story, his journey with you. So, Brad, tell our viewers who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and then we'll get into your story in the podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks, Pete, for having me on. So my name is Brad Strawbridge. I do a few different things. The main thing that I do is I'm the founder of Capital City Roofing in Alpharetta, Georgia. So we are a residential and multifamily and commercial roofing contractor here. And then in addition to that, we have a nonprofit here as well called Feeding the Future Project. And then I am the Chief Strategy Officer and equity partner of a company called Builder Link, and Link is spelled Lync. And what that is a roofing specific CRM, and it's an all-in-one platform, really an operating system, truly.
You know, I love what you just described. Business, systems and processes are so important to grow. Did you, like, in coming out with that, how long ago was it, and why did you pursue that? Because it's needed out there, but not everybody will apply it to their business.
Yeah, and so a lot of it is influenced. You mentioned systems and processes. A lot of it is influenced by EOS, right? The Entrepreneurial Operating System.
Yep.
So all of the ventures that I'm involved in operate on EOS. And so that DNA is kind of infused in everything we do. But, kind of talking about both Capital City Roofing and Builder Link, right? Because Capital City Roofing, we are licensing that as a platform to give contractors a plug and play system to be successful, right? And so I was surprised when I was kind of doing my due diligence and talking to a bunch of people and my peers and realized that there are contractors out there that are doing a significant amount of revenue, and some of them are still on spreadsheets.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are in ledger books. It blew my mind because there's actually a lot of technology out there in the CRM space, but there's a lot out there, right? And so everyone says, "Hey, well, what's the best system to use?" It's the one that you're going to use. That's the best one. So what we've done is we've taken essentially 8 different pieces of software, and we've bundled them and rebuilt them and improved upon them in one platform, right? So one login, one place, one source of truth, really.
Mm-hmm.
And man, just the amount of time that it saves, not to mention keeping track of things. Because once you get to a certain revenue point, you can't keep track of customers if you're writing it down everywhere or trying to input these spreadsheets. It's crazy. So we're excited about it.
What do you think? Because I'm familiar with Traction and Gino. How much influence did that have on you as a business person?
Oh, all the influence. Like I said, we're very strict about, and we do the best we can to always operate in that mindset, right? We have our L10s every week. Each department has their own L10s as well, and we do the deal. We IDS in real time. We talk about it as a group. We have we have wild goals for ourselves, and we track those via rocks and to-dos, and those are the things that move the needle, right? And then when you talk about building an organization and building a culture, there's nothing better than hiring based on your core values, right? And core values and GWC, it makes things easy, right? Because then you kind of take all those other intangible, nuanced type personality quirks out of the equation. And then it boils down to, well, let's interview a bunch of people. And then, do they share our core values? Yes. Do they get it? Yes. Do they want it? Yes. And do they have the capacity to do it? Yes. Okay, let's bring them on board. It makes it easy. And 9 times out of 10, those folks will be successful in your organization, assuming that you integrate them in and show them support and always, they should know your vision too, right? And EOS does a great job of explaining that, from the CEO to the field rep who's knocking on doors. Whoever it is in that organization should know what the bigger picture is and should know what everybody is doing as a team to reach that goal.
That's so good. Now, your career at Lowe's, I see it. I like patterns and systems, and I see people that, they're moving from working for somebody else where you get a paycheck every week versus transitioning to that entrepreneurial role where if you're not adding value, nobody's paying you. How long did it take you to make that transition from working for somebody else and now being that business owner and having to generate the revenue and the value in the marketplace? Was it a difficult transition, and how long did it take you?
It wasn't a difficult transition. Now, I wish I would have done it sooner. I really do. I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, but I didn't. I mean, I was 35 before I decided to kind of take that leap of faith. But I wish I would have done it sooner. There's no way that I could ever work for somebody else again, directly. But I will say this as a word of caution. It's not for everyone. It's really not. And when I talk to people and younger people who are thinking about doing this or that, I say, hey, really look inside yourself, right? Dig deep and be honest with yourself and be aware, and because not everybody's built for it. It's because at the end of the day, the buck stops with you, for real. And it's not just you and your family. It's everybody that you bring in your sphere of influence or bring into your organization that's also depending on you, right? And so there's a significant level of stress associated with that. I like to think of it as eustress instead of distress, right? Because there's different types of stress, right? Like euphoria and dysphoria. I like to think of it as eustress, and I always say jokingly to myself when I'm stressed, you're blessed to be stressed, right? Because I do have a bigger vision, right, that I'm going after. And a lot of it doesn't have anything to do with money. A lot of it has to do with changing the community and helping people and making an impact and building a real legacy and those types of things, right? And so, but I experience every emotion every single day, the full spectrum of emotions every single day. So wish I would have done it sooner. The transition was easy for me. I kind of jumped right into it, but yeah, that's kind of my experience with it.
That is awesome. Now, I've always believed in the servant part of what we do. Tell me about your nonprofit and when did you start it, and what's the focus besides just hearing it? What are you guys trying to accomplish?
Yeah, so we just started it very recently. It was November of last year. Matter of fact, it was literally, we were on call it a retreat, if you will, for Thanksgiving. Me and my wife and my COO and his wife, we got a cabin in the North Georgia mountains, and that's where we went for Thanksgiving. And I knew that I had always wanted to do that, right? That's always been a part of the plan. But I guess it was, I just felt led at that moment, literally on Thanksgiving, to say, this is what we're going to do, right? And so started planning it, put everything in action and got, it structured and got it launched. And so now what we're trying to do is feeding the future project, right? So think about feeding the future, feeding children, in the classical sense, meaning, partnering with the school systems, trying to identify those children who maybe they're on the free lunch program, right? And so during the summertime, holiday time, if they're not eating lunch at school, they a lot of times could go hungry. And so trying to identify those children, reach out to those families directly if able. If not, then giving resources to the schools. And then another thing that we want to do, and we're trying to open some doors to be able to make it happen, is we'd like to partner with the Atlanta Braves. I've always been a big Braves fan my entire life. You can tell by our logo for our company, inspired by the Braves quite a bit. But we'd like to partner with them and, for instance, buy, all of left field, right? And take, 100 or more children that might not ever have that opportunity to go to a professional sporting event and take them out to the Braves game. And then anything and everything, right? If we can be of service, then we're going to do it. It's more of just a spirit of, I think you mentioned it. It's just having that servant heart, really.
Yes. And what would you say, like, our habits have a lot to do with our outcome. What habit have you been able to, in the last year, to lean into that has served you well?
So discipline is, if discipline is the single most valuable trait that I believe anybody could have, because the fact of the matter is even if you're very passionate about something, passion alone is not going to sustain you.
Yep.
Right? Because you're going to have a bad mood. You're going to, circumstances, life happens, right? But despite those things, if you can be disciplined and just move forward, just take another step, just keep going, it pays dividends, right? That person, the person who's disciplined, will win 100% of the time over the person who's more talented, who's more passionate. All of those things are great, but the person that is disciplined and consistent over time, they win. They can't lose because they won't quit. And that, I think, is probably my biggest strength, but it's the thing that I have leveraged the most in, the time that I've started these organizations.
That's so good. What's your morning routine like?
So I get up in the morning and I don't look at my phone right away, right? Because I can start working right away. But I like to do some just simple meditation. My faith is very big to me. I'm pretty open about it. I don't try to cram it down anybody's throat, but the first thing I do is I hit my knees and I pray and I check in with the boss for the day, and how can I be of service? May I do thy will always, and get to work. And obviously my routine of getting dressed and all those things. But a big part, the most important thing in the morning to me is centering myself, having some meditation time, and thinking about what's really important.
That's so good. I serve over at Kennesaw Mountain High School, and we do habitudes, and we talk about, the last session was on big rocks and priorities, and so many times we're reacting to things and we're just not having any idea of what we want to accomplish each day. What would you say, like, when you look at your management style, and I'm familiar with one of the books that has influenced you, what would they say Brad's management style would be with Capital City Roofing?
Yeah, so I am a visionary to the T, every definition of it, and the good things that come with that, and then also the deficiencies that come with that. And so for me, I also have ADD, which I like to think of as a superpower.
Yeah, I do too.
If you use it correctly, it absolutely can be. But I have a million things going on at any given time. I have a million more ideas that come up right behind those, and so my team will tell you that I have a lot of priorities, and I try to help the best I can. But I'll tell you, I've been blessed to meet a friend, colleague,
Hmm.
business partner, my COO. He really has came in and plugged into that integrator role, and together, I don't know if you've ever read Rocket Fuel,
Hmm.
but together, our management style together is it's something special, and we're building a good culture here, and we're able to help a lot of people be successful.
That's beautiful. I was always liked to read books, but I never, until the last couple of years, got the comprehension out of books. And I use a thing. I'll put it into AI, give me the 10 things, and then I'll put it into another program, NotebookLM, and then I listen to things at 2x speed. Then I read, and I take so much more. Have you, with AI and all the things that are coming at us, do you have some things that you have adjusted because AI is changing the world and we can't just say, I'm not going to learn it? How are you using it to help you and help your business?
Yeah, so I use it for everything. So I'm a big advocate for AI. I believe that because there's a school of thought that, oh, it's going to replace human workers, and oh, maybe it's, I don't know, there's conspiracy theories, whatever, right? But the fact of the matter is either we need to learn how to use it and really wrap our arms around it,
Hmm.
or we're going to get left behind, right? And so what I've done is I've tried to integrate it into the majority of our workflows.
Hmm.
You mentioned Notebook LM. Notebook LM is fantastic. It's our database. It's our major kind of knowledge base that our employees can pull from, right?
Hmm.
Hey, how much is a bundle of shingles? Hey, how do I do this? Hey, what's the policy for that? It's all in Notebook LM. We've got it divided up for specific notebooks for specific departments,
Hmm.
um, and we're kind of using it as a backbone to develop Capital City University. And then I use ChatGPT. I've used ChatGPT since it first came out. And so I have, in the same account. And so I have everything organized by folder. Chat knows more about me than I know about myself because it never forgets, right?
Yeah.
It will remind me about things that I have talked about 2 years ago. I said, "Oh, well, did you change your mind about this?" And I'm like, "Well, I guess I have," right? And actually, I just switched. I've always been a PC guy, right?
Mhm.
Always been a PC guy. I just switched to Mac, so that way I could use ChatGPT Atlas browser, and it's a game changer. I absolutely love that feature in the browser, and I'm trying to teach everybody that'll listen in my organization how to use these things and multiply their productivity. Um, you know, daily. And then in the roofing business, we use AI for estimating. We use AI for communication,
Mhm.
automations, follow-ups, anything that we can do. We try to leverage it.
Yeah, I have both Mac and PC, and I go back and forth because I use certain ones for each. But I do like Notebook LM with the Mac more than I do the PC because I can airdrop things and I can do things that my PC won't do. The Atlas, tell me more about Atlas. I'm curious that because I still use Chrome on the Mac. Tell
Yeah.
me how you're using that and what's the difference between your Chrome and your Atlas?
So Atlas is Chromium based, right? So
Mm.
it functions the same way, but essentially, if you want to, you can click in the right-hand corner of the window, you click Ask ChatGPT, and there's a slide that comes out in a little area, and it looks at your screen. It can see what's on your screen. So you can ask it questions directed at the content you're looking at, right? Or let's say you had I don't know, some type of a form fill, right? You could go into agent mode and you could say, hey, fill this form out for me. And it would fill it out for you.
Hmm.
It would ask you questions along the way. If it had questions, it's like having a little virtual employee inside your computer, honestly.
Mhm.
I was testing it the other day and I had it build a couple of web pages in my website. I said, hey, log into my WordPress and build this page. And it logs in and you can see it in real time, clicking on stuff and then rationalizing stuff. If it
Yeah,
has a question, it'll stop and ask. It's pretty cool.
that is amazing. When did the light bulb go off for you with AI? How long ago, and what was the moment that it just like got your attention?
Yeah, so I've always been fascinated with I don't know, I guess like for instance, growing up, I used to, me and my dad, we would watch Star Trek. Um, and I liked it. I preferred Star Trek over Star Wars. I know it's very controversial, but just and then when I heard about that, I was just like, this is cool. I gotta see what's going on, and then the more and more I looked at it, and then it grew, and then I got older, and then I matured, and then I started looking at it through that lens of, yeah, it's cool, but it's very useful. And I never looked back. I've kind of been growing with it as it grows, or trying to keep up with it anyway.
Yeah, it's changing all the time, and it does. How much time do you spend on your education? Because so much is coming at us, and how focused is it? Do you have a specific educational focus, and how much time do you spend on it?
Like I'm assuming you're referring to like staying up with the trends of that industry about what's
Yeah,
coming,
just
how it's
anything, because if we're not learning, then like you just said, AI, we're going to be left behind. I
yeah.
mean, but there's so much out there. We
Mhm,
can get, the shotgun or the rifle
mhm.
approach. How do you handle all this information coming at us, and what's your focus when it comes to learning?
Yeah, so I have a couple of prompts where ChatGPT sends me or emails me every morning with the top 10 um, noteworthy advancements in AI, right?
Oh.
And just AI, and then I have it do another top 10 with AI specific to the roofing industry.
Hmm.
So I'm looking at 2, and I probably spend maybe 30 minutes a day kinda looking at it. If I see something very, very interesting, I will spend more. But that's typically how I do it, and then I have a couple of other people that I trust that are, you know, in that industry, like whether either they're developers or they're, just very, very in tune with that. And so then I'll ask them for advice or what should I pay attention to, or what LLM is best for this, best for that, because they all do something, a little bit different, a little bit better, and kind of educate myself that way.
Hmm. What's your thoughts on, community involvement? I know you're doing the nonprofit, but how involved in the community are you, and what type of activities do you like to do with the community?
Yeah, so I'm not as involved as I want to be. I'd like to be involved in everything that I can be. But currently, like for instance, this morning we had a state of the city um, event this morning for Alpharetta. That's where our business is based out of.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And so I'm a member of the Alpharetta Business Association, and we get involved in as much community activities as we can. I'm involved in the Atlanta Apartment Association.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very, very community focused for the Atlanta metro area at large.
Mm-hmm.
And then another great organization is the Georgia Manufacturing Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm one of those guys who, if it is community focused and it comes across my plate, I don't say no. I don't say no. Right? I'll make time if I can. If not, I'll send one of my team, because those are the things that really matter, and not just from like a humanitarian, type, warm and fuzzy, let's sing kumbaya perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about being a business leader, those things are more important if you're thinking long term. For me, like I want to be in this community for a very, very long time, and I want to hopefully one day be considered as a pillar of this local community. And you get those things by participating in community events.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. What is Brad most excited about? We've turned the first of the year. We're into February. What are you most excited about this year coming up?
So two things. One is the builder link software that I was talking about. It's going to be very successful. I know that we're just launching beta here this week, and it's good. What I know about the contractor space and the technology gaps here and there, it's going to be very successful, but it's also going to help a lot of people and a lot of small to medium sized businesses to be successful, and I'm excited about that. And then this year we will officially launch our Capital City Roofing licensing platform, which essentially will give people, it's similar to a franchise, but explicitly not a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
What it is, I mean, obviously you can be Capital City Roofing, right? You can DBA, be Capital City Roofing, but we have all the SOPs, the core processes,
Mm-hmm.
run on EOS, and so we teach that to you. And then in addition to that, there's shared services. So we'll answer your phones, we'll book your appointments, we'll do your bookkeeping. It really gives people, it sets people up to be successful,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then we are a part of that journey with people. We have one test location going on right now in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
What really makes things worth it is conversations like we had with him and his wife, Joe and Linda. They're salt of the earth people, probably the nicest people you'll ever meet. And we went to Nashville to visit with them, and sat down to have dinner with them, and they said, thank you. He legitimately thanked us for being available, for answering our phones, for actually supporting him, because he had an experience with a franchise beforehand that he didn't get that. He didn't get any support. And so for us to actually be able to really help somebody,
Mm-hmm.
it's just how could you not be excited about it, right?
Would Builders Link be industry specific to the roofing, or could other contractors adopt it based on its framework?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's going to be very, very roofing heavy focused right now, because there's essentially four partners in it, and one is the developer, his name's Sean, and then three other roofing company owners, me being one of them. And so the majority of the feedback that we're getting as it's being built is roofing specific, but it will be translated to every other home service vertical. And then eventually, and that's why it's named Builder Link, is even, developers, commercial general contractors, residential home builders, everybody would be able to utilize it as an all-in-one platform.
Mm-hmm. That's so good. Yeah, I have a friend that he was with Home Depot, and he's working for, I want to say, Builder Exact, I believe, Builder X Act, but it's so many, like I think you shared, roofers, contractors, they're still living 25 years ago or 10, 15 years ago, and they're working so hard on just stuff that if they could adapt better systems, they would have a better quality of enjoyment for their business and not be because I see them all the time. They're late. They don't show up. They don't make a phone call. I mean, basic things that you need. But if you don't have those systems, things are falling through the cracks all the time.
Yep.
There's an easier way.
Yep.
So I want to be respectful of your time, Brad. So how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'm pretty much everywhere. So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn. You can go to our websites, capitalcityroofing.net, bradstrawbridge.com, builderlink.com, and I'd be happy to talk to anybody interested in talking about these things, because I like talking about these things because I'm passionate about these things.
That's awesome. So yeah, and we'll share this with people. I have a handful of builders, roofers that I know, and you always want them to know how to run their business more efficiently, because successful business is successful community, because you want vibrant community and businesses within the community. What would be the one thing you would want our viewers to take home from our time on this podcast?
Yeah, so I would say, especially if you're a small business or if you're an entrepreneur, and it doesn't matter what field or vertical you're in, just stay encouraged, right? Because good times come, good times go, but so do bad times. They come and they go. And if you can just be steadfast and just be disciplined, just have that discipline, you'll get through it. You will. And so be encouraged and try to enjoy the moment. It's very easy to get caught up in, where do I want to be in 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
And then you see that gap and it seems overwhelming. And so you just focus on that future. And when you do that, you miss the things you could potentially enjoy about your current circumstance, right? So I would say be encouraged and take some time to enjoy the journey and to enjoy the people that you're on that journey with.
That is so good. Brad, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to share with our viewers and share with our community your journey. And we appreciate that very much. And we'll make sure anybody listening, share this with people you think need to meet Brad or need to have access to some of the things he's doing to build successful businesses and thriving communities. So thank you so much, Brad.
Thanks, Pete. I appreciate it.